everyone, and welcome back to Penny in the Yard. We had such a wonderful time at our plant swap the other day, but I had to get all of my flower beds cleaned out before I could do that. Let me take you through what I did. This is my bed up against the deck, and I have got on each side of the deck, I have got my rose of Sharon here. She was all bloomed out just a couple of weeks ago. Looks like she's getting ready to start again. And I've got the airplane plants that line the front. And then I've got my azaleas back here. They died back to the ground when we had a real hard freeze a couple of years ago. But I need to clean this all out. Some of these, it's just hard to see them because they're so covered with all these weeds right now. I have got a soaker system going. I'm not sure if you can see it, and it's covered with dirt in most places, but right over here it seems to flood when I leave it on for too long, and then on the other side it doesn't get enough water. It's the other side. It's my other rose of Sharon. You can see a little bloom about to start right there. And then this side has the airplane plants, fairly large. And back here again, I've got my azalea. I have been thinking about putting blueberries along the back side instead of the azalea. Maybe just moving them to another location or putting them in a pot. But I don't think they would have handled the heat this year. I will go ahead and get my flower beds cleaned out, and then I will show you the end product. Here is my flower bed along the edge of the deck. It still has a lot of the oak leaves in it, but I'm kind of using that as mulch. My Rose of Sharon's hasn't bloomed yet. I thought that with the rain we recently got, it would be bloomed out, but not as of yet. But I do have all of the ugly grass out. I think I want to come back and mulch, at least on this side. If I don't do both sides, it's not going to look even, so I will probably do both. I do have a few blooms on my crepe myrtle here. And I do need to trim back this wisteria. Here is my first flower bed. It has a stump in the middle of it with petunias that set on the stump. And then at the top stump, there is parsley. Around the edges, there is different types of plants. There's fern, two types of fern here, the asparagus fern and the foxtail fern. And then I've got airplane plant, spider plant. There's several names for it. I've got lilies over here. And then I had a voluntary chili pekin come up. And here in South Texas, these grow wild. And they have these little chilies on them that are very intensely hot, and some people love them, not me. This bed doesn't need a whole lot cleaned out. It does have some of the armadillo holes that are in it. I'm not sure, I haven't caught the thing yet, but I am contemplating on whether to take all of this old bark off of the trees, the tree stumps here, because it's just peeling off and falling. So I'm thinking I just need to take the lights off and then get the bark off of the tree. And that would be the biggest part of this particular flower bed to have to clean out. So this is my progress so far on my bed that has the stumps on it. I've got two of the stumps cleared out, and this tallest one has wood ants in it. And what I think I want to do is just cut it down a little further back past all of the wood ant damage and have to reset my basket. The basket is actually screwed down onto the stump, so I have to take the coconut liner out and unscrew the basket and replace it once I get it cut. Another problem I've run into here is I had lights around these stumps, if you remember, and the electricity going to it was cords under the ground, and I hit both sides with my shovel, and so now I have to wait for my husband to come out and fix these for me. But I thought that I was just doing the wood on here, but then I decided to clear around the edges and ran into all kinds of trouble. But I've got one more stump to clear off all of the bark around, and I'm going to try to clean up a little bit and go on until my husband can come fix these. We recently had some rain, so everything has greened up around here. It looks really nice. This is my flower bed with the stumps. I did get my husband to come out and put the heat shrink around the wires that I accidentally shoveled into. I added some kalanchoe on this side where there was a bare spot. I may put another color of red in there with it. Okay, this one is pretty bad. I've got my poor Japanese fern here. Our hot 100-degree days and dry weather has just taken its toll on everything here. I have got some of the English ivy that is just growing everywhere, and some of it's living and some of it's dying because of the heat. I don't really maintain it very well. I just wanted it to grow wild up this tree. Because the tree is already on its way out, on its last limb. And I will probably end up doing like I did with the other tree and just making it a stump with a planter on it. Here I've got African iris, and it hasn't bloomed in several years. I have neglected it tremendously. It needs to be separated so that it has better root system and it might bloom then. So I got to clean all of the grass and junk out of this one and maybe mulch. This is my tree that has the ivy that's growing up in it. I've decided that maybe I need to control that a little bit. I still need to trim it up a little bit. I trimmed back all of the dead that was on my Japanese fern. I've got a little 4 o'clock coming up right there. Don't know if he'll make it or not. So I ended up taking the pedestal out of the middle and putting this basket with the double blooming begonias in them. I love that. And I'm going to keep the ivy trimmed back to just around the base of the tree. So I need to dig all of that up and mulch in there. I've got an idea about what I might put back in there. I've got a potato ivy right there. And here is where the African iris was, still is, but I cut it back quite a bit and I dug everything up and I put back just the shoots, and I'm sure they're gonna come back from here. Hopefully they will bloom for me next year. The other thing I want to get accomplished is to put my Mandanvia on the edge of my arches, or on the middle of my arches here on each side. I have got a wild vine that's growing up and covering the top of it pretty good, and it's about to fruit out. The fruit is not edible though. I would like more flowering vine than this. I'm not sure whether to leave this or cut it down. I do have another wild vine growing. That is the passion vine. I was gonna see if I could find you a flower that's bloomed out, but I don't see one on this one. On this side, there is one. This poor little guy, he's already getting stressed from all of the sun. But they're actually quite unique flowers when they're in their splendor and glory. Then the last thing I want to do is, with my crepe myrtles here, I want to, that one is leaning way out, and I want to train it to go around the outside of the arch here. And this one as well. This one's already going a little bit that direction, but not like I want. My plan was to cut some of this back off of the arch before I put the crepe myrtles on here, but there are just wasps everywhere getting at the blooms here, and I don't want to risk being stung. My granddaughter was just stung a few days ago, and it was traumatic for her, and it would be traumatic for me too. So I am going to leave this alone until the wasps have had their fill. Here is my Mandanvia on the arch, and it is already vining up, doing really well. I'm going to need to reset this one. I'll just do that right now. It looks like it was trying to vine down below, but we're going to reach it up to climb a little bit. And I had to tie my crepe myrtle upright because he was leaning so far back, but I do have them going over the arch, and they're getting ready to bloom. Looking good. The wisteria that I had out here, I'm still trying to train to be a tree. I tried to untie him, and the whole thing drooped over to the ground. That's where I tried to tie him back, and everything kept slipping. So I had to retape him. So he's doing better now and getting big. Next time on Penny in the Yard, I will be planting all the finds I got at the plant swap. Y'all come back now.